To watch these important lessons, subscribe to DP Education's YouTube channel right now. Click on the bell icon to stay updated on the latest lessons. Sri Lanka's largest free online school, DP Education.
Right, my dear children. Now, within this chapter, we'll be doing several extra questions related to the lesson part. Lesson number 7 under the plant growth substances in new science syllabus. Right. So, the first type of questions which is given in here are MCQ type questions. Now, as you can see, you need to choose the correct or the most suitable answer out of the given responses. So, the first one which is given here, not an essential factor for the growth of a plant. For the growth of a plant, this factor is not essential. Air, it's important. Water, once again important, my dear children. Sunlight, again it's important. All of these factors are very much important for the growth of a plant. You know that water, air and sunlight, all of these things are essential for the photosynthesis process. And if you take air, the component oxygen in air is also important for the respiration of the plants as well. So, all of these factors are essential for the growth. But however, artificial fertilizer, these things are not that much needed for the plant. Artificial fertilizer is not that much needed for the plant. Actually, those things are not needed at all for some plants. There are some plants in our natural environment, they are going to grow without these artificial fertilizer. Sometimes, my dear children, sometimes artificial fertilizer should be added for some special kind of plants. Otherwise, they will not grow. Those things are the ones which are being genetically enhanced, right? Most of the times. So, these things are somewhat needed. For these things, artificial fertilizer is somewhat needed. But however, most of the plants that around in our environment, they do not need artificial fertilizer. They just grow by the natural components. So, artificial fertilizer is not needed for the growth of a plant. Next one, apex of the plant always grow towards upward, downward to the direction of light. Actually, if you took this thing as upward, then it is incorrect. Upward is incorrect, my dear children. We can't say that always it is going to grow upward, right? Sometimes they will lean to a certain direction, right? So, therefore, we can't say always it is upward. Actually, it is growing towards the direction of light. That's the most suitable answer, right? So, the most suitable answer for this question would be to the direction of light. Apex of the plant is always, right? Apex of the plant always grow towards the light. It always grow towards the light. Then the next question. We'll head on to the next question. Chemical compounds which regulate growth of a plant are. Chemical compounds which regulate the growth of a plant are fertilizer, water, minerals, growth substances. All of these things are chemical compounds, my dear children. Fertilizer, water is also a chemical substance because made up with different types of atoms, right? So, it's correct, no problem. Anything in our environment can be considered as a chemical substance because those things are made up with atoms and chemicals, right? So, it's not a problem. But however, here they are mentioning that chemical compounds which regulate the growth of a plant. So, growth of a plant is regulated by growth substances, right? Growth substances. So, our answer would be growth substances. Growth substances. Next one. Growth substances can promote the growth of a plant. Correct. Of course, correct. Growth substances, they can promote the growth of a plant. Mainly we discussed within this lesson the growth substances which can promote the growth, right? So it is correct, no problem. Next one. Inhibit the growth of a plant. Once again correct. Once again correct. It can inhibit the growth of plant, right? Growth substances can accelerate or promote the growth, and also they can inhibit the growth. Both the things are correct. Next one, promote or inhibit the growth of a plant. That is correct. No, that is the absolute correct one, right? So growth substances can promote or else inhibit. They can do both. So you have to select the most accurate answer here, my dear children. So therefore, the most accurate answer would be growth, or growth substances can promote or inhibit the growth. Okay, so the most suitable one is that, because they can do both of these things, right? Auxins are produced in. Auxins are produced in. Number one given, tips of the fibrous roots. Tips of the fibrous roots. Correct, right? Tips of the roots, no? So it is correct. Tips of the roots. Correct, no problem. Auxins are produced in the tips of the roots. Correct. Next one, in the shoot apex. Correct, ne? It's also correct. Right? It's also correct. It's because apex, in the name itself, apex refers to auxins. In the apex, we can observe auxins. No problem. Correct. Third one, tips of the lateral roots. Correct. Once again, correct. No problem. Tips of the roots, no. No matter whether it is fibrous root or no matter whether it is a lateral root, whatever, these things are roots. So tips, at the tips of the roots, you can observe what? These auxins. So all of these things are correct, right? So auxins are produced in tips of the roots and shoot. Okay. Next one. Auxins helps to promote the growth of a plant towards light, stimulate cell elongation, speeds up the growth of new cells. So auxins helps to promote the growth of a plant towards light. Correct? No, we discussed that auxins are the ones which are helpful to curve a plant to the direction of light. Right? Auxins helps to curve a plant to the direction of light. Mainly it's happening because at the place where the sunlight is received more, right, less auxin concentration is there, and when the area which is somewhat darker, right, it has high auxin concentration. So therefore that curving process occurs to the direction of the sunlight. Okay, so it is correct, my dear children. Promote the growth of a plant towards the light. Next one, stimulate cell elongation. Correct. Cell elongation is stimulated by auxins. It is correct. Right? Cell elongation is stimulated by auxins. It is correct. Next one, speeds up the growth of new cells. Speeds up the growth of new cells. Once again, correct. Once again, it is also correct. So all the above should be our answer. Auxins helps to promote growth of a plant towards the light and to stimulate cell elongation, and also to speed up the growth of new cells. For all of these things, auxins are helpful, right? Then the next one. Natural growth substance found in plants. Natural growth substance found in plants. 2,4,5 TPA. Incorrect, right? NAA, Naphthaleneacetic acid. Once again, incorrect. So here trichlorophenoxyacetic acid. Artificial one. So it's incorrect. Naphthaleneacetic acid. Once again, incorrect. Artificial one. Then IAA, Indoleacetic acid. So this is our answer. We discussed that the Indoleacetic acid is a naturally produced or naturally produced growth substance that can be observed in a plant. So IAA is the correct answer, natural growth substance that can be observed or that found in plants. Next one, IAA stands for. IAA stands for. IAA means, my dear children, Indoleacetic acid. Indoleacetic acid, right? So you go for the answer which has Indoleacetic acid. Indoleacetic acid. So here indole acetate acid, incorrect, right? Acetic acid. Iodine acetic acid, once again incorrect. Indole acetic acid, yes, this is our answer, indole acetic acid. Now my dear children, in these questions, when we are discussing about the artificial growth substances, you could observe that the table was given under the full name and also under the shorter name. So you have to remember both of these things when answering questions, because sometimes the questions will given by using NAA, IAA and so on, using the short form. Sometimes the longer form will be given. So it's very important to keep in mind both the short term and as well as the longer term. Okay. So remember to keep these things in your mind when you are doing questions related to the plant growth substances. Okay. So let's head on to see the next question. Growth substance found in apex of the plant. Apex of the plant, very simple my dear children. At the apex of the plant, right? Auxins are the ones which can be found at the apex of the plant. So at the apex of the plant we can observe what? Auxins. So it's very simple my dear children. Auxins are the ones which are available at the apex of the plant. Okay, at the apex of the plant. Then the next one. When intensity of light is low, concentration of auxins. Intensity of light is low, concentration of auxins. Can you remember when we are doing that question? Right? Not the question, right? When we are discussing about the auxins, I told you to remember a certain point. Right? So by keeping that point in your mind, it's very simple to answer this question. So what is that point, my dear children? I told you this point would be very helpful for you when answering these questions. Okay, especially when answering questions regarding to growth substances. The question, this point would be much more, right? This point would be much more needed for you guys in order to answer the question. Okay, and it will make your question somewhat easy to answer. So what is that one? I told you the special point to remember. What is that? So that is, my dear children, I told you that auxins hate light. So at the place where high amount of light, auxins will not stay on that point or on that area, it will go to the other side. Auxins hate light. Remember that thing once again. So when the intensity of the light is low, when the intensity of light is low, that means when there is less light. If it has less light, then the concentration of auxins increases. When the light is low, auxins would love to stay that particular place. When the light is high, auxins will travel to the opposite direction because auxins hate light. Okay, remember that point. That would make your questions quite easy, right? So when the intensity of the light is low, the concentration of auxins increases. Okay, concentration increases. Next question. Increase of the rate of rooting can be done by increase of the rate of rooting, right? The rate of rooting can be increased by using auxins, gibberellins, cytokinin. So, increase of the rate of rooting. The rate of rooting can be increased. So, I think you can remember I have given you two figures. When we are discussing about the cytokinins, I have given you two figures to show the rooting process. So, on that two figures, my dear children, the cytokinin is the growth substance which is being added to increase the rate of rooting. So, this rooting process increases because of high rate of cell division. So, the rate of cell division is going to increase when providing more cytokinin. So, therefore, my dear children, the rate of rooting will also get increased. So, our answer would be cytokinin. Cytokinin. Cytokinin would be our answer. Next one. When there are more auxins in an area of a plant, the growth will. When there are more auxins in an area of a plant, the growth will remains constant, changes, increases, decreases. So, auxin is a substance that can promote the growth of an apex. So, if there are more auxins in a particular region, the rate of growth of cells will going to definitely increase. That's why that curving process is going to occur, right? So, definitely what will happen? When there are more auxins in an area of a plant, the growth will increases, right? The growth will increases. In that particular region, the growth will increase. That is why the curving is going to occur. Right. The next question. Curving of the plant stem tip towards the light caused by acetic acid. Incorrect. Cytokinin. Incorrect. Because the cytokinin is going to produce more number of cells or cell division is going to increase. That is correct. However, the curving process of the tip is not caused by cytokinin. Then the next one, gibberellins. We know that the gibberellins are being used to stem elongation. Stems can be elongated. It is used in stem elongation, my dear children. Okay, so gibberellins, when you take gibberellins, it can only be used for the stem elongation. Stem of the plant is getting elongated, that's it, not the apex. Here the curving is discussed. So we know that it's an obvious answer because in the earlier question also we discussed that the curving is going to occur because of what? Because of the action of auxins. Curving of the plant stem tip towards the light is caused by auxins. Auxins. Next one. Curving of the plant stem tip towards the light is a, right. So, let me remind you of this movement. So, here the plant tip is going to curve towards the light. So, I told you about the photosynthesis. I told you about the photograph. Photo means light. Photo means what? Light. So, if a certain thing is going to occur to the direction of the light, then it is a positive one. Okay. So, it is a positive phototrophic movement. If a certain thing is going to occur opposite in direction of the light, right? Here thing means here we are discussing about plants. If a certain thing is growing towards the light, then it is a positive phototrophic movement. If a certain thing or if a certain part of a plant is growing away from the light, then it is a negative phototrophic movement. Plant stem is always growing towards the light, or apex of the plant is always growing towards the light. Positive phototrophic movement. Roots are growing away from the light or towards the ground. Negative phototrophic movement. So here, curving of the plant stem tip towards the light is a positive phototrophic movement. Positive phototrophic movement. Towards the light it grows. So it is a positive phototrophic movement. Next question. Auxins can inhibit the growth, promote the growth, promote or inhibit the growth, none of the above. So auxins can inhibit the growth, promote the growth, promote or inhibit the growth. So my dear children, we know that auxins can promote the growth of apex, and also auxins can demote or inhibit the growth of lateral buds. Okay, it is going to inhibit the growth of lateral buds. So we can take auxins as it can promote or inhibit the growth. Both the things are correct, because auxins can promote the growth, it's going to promote the growth of the apex, and also it's going to inhibit the growth of the lateral buds. So both of these things are correct. Next one. Advantage of Naphthaleneacetic acid. Induce root formation of stem cuttings, get flowers in pineapple during off season, grow fruits quickly, get mango fruits in the off season. We get mango fruits in the off season by using cytocells, right? To grow fruits quickly and to induce root formation in stem cuttings, we use IBA and IAA. IBA means indole butyric acid. IAA means indoleacetic acid. So this is IAA, this is IAA and IBA, this is also IAA and IBA, this is also, right, this is cytocell. So all of these things are incorrect. Then there is only one correct answer. What is that? To get flowers in pineapple during the off season. This is our answer. Naphthaleneacetic acid is used to get flowers in pineapple during off season. Right. Then the next question. DPA stands for DPA. So DPA is going to stand, right? DPA is going to stand for dichlorophenoxyacetic acid. Dichlorophenoxyacetic acid. That's the meaning of DPA, dichlorophenoxyacetic acid. So let's go for the answers now. Phenoacetic acid. Phenoacetic acid incorrect. Dichlorophenoxyacetic acid. Yes, this is the answer. Dichlorophenoxyacetic acid. Then dioxyphenoxyacetic acid, incorrect. Then none of the above, so incorrect. So our correct answer would be dichlorophenoxyacetic acid, DPA. Then the next one. Growth of a plant mainly occurs due to chemical compounds, natural water, sunlight, none of the above. Growth of a plant mainly occurs due to, there can be sunlight, but however there can be plants that they will not grow like the usual plants. Growth will be delayed. It's because they lack the necessary substances for the growth. What are those substances? Those are the chemical substances, my dear children, which are referred as the growth substances. So chemical compounds would be the most important one, which is important for the growth of a plant. No matter there is natural water, no matter there is sunlight. Here it is given as natural water. Actually, no need natural water is, however, we know that water is natural, but however, we can create water artificially as well. By main methods, we can create water. How come? When burning hydrogen gas with oxygen, water vapor is getting emitted. Okay, I mean, it's not a a usual chemical reaction that can be done in our normal environmental conditions, even though even hydrogen gas is not available in our normal environmental conditions, but however we can produce water vapor. Okay, we can produce. So no matter whether it is natural water, no matter whether it is artificial water, however, if you can produce water or if you can provide water, then the plant will grow. No problem in it. However, my dear children, in order to grow, right, in order to grow the plant, in order to have a good uniform growth, definitely there should be chemical compounds. Otherwise, this will not happen. It will not happen for sure. So it's very important to have growth substances within a plant up to a certain level in order to grow, right? Otherwise, the growth will be delayed and sometimes the plant will die. And even we discussed that for the seed germination also, these growth substances are very important. So growth substances or chemical compounds are very important for the growth of a plant, right? So even though all of these things are given, we won't be able to see a growth if there is no enough chemical compounds within the plant. Okay, right then. Next one. Auxin inhibits the growth of lateral buds, apical buds, apex. D given. Auxins always promotes the growth. So auxins inhibits the growth of, so this is very simple, my dear children. Straightforward theoretical question, right? We discuss several theoretical parts related to auxins. So straightforward within the theory we have discussed this thing. What is that? Auxins are going to promote the cell elongation, and it's going to curve, right, the tip of the plant towards the light, and also it's going to help, or it's going to inhibit the growth of lateral buds. That's how we maintain a bushy plant, right? Like the pomegranate. So here, lateral buds, apical buds, apex. Our answer would be lateral buds. because auxin is always going to inhibit the growth of lateral buds and it's always going to promote the growth of the apex. Next one, advantage of trichlorophenoxyacetic acid. Trichlorophenoxyacetic acid. So 2,4,5 trichlorophenoxyacetic acid, 2,4 dichlorophenoxyacetic acid. Both of these substances or both of these chemicals, okay, used for a particular reason. Let's see. Induce root formation of the stem cuttings to grow fruits quickly. Broadleaf weedicide for paddy fields. Get mango fruits in the off season. Induce root formation of the stem cuttings. We use IAA and IBA for that. Right? Indoleacetic acid and indolebutyric acid. So, those two acids are used to induce root formation of stem cuttings. So, it is incorrect. To grow fruits quickly, once again incorrect. The same thing is being used. Broadleaf weedicide for paddy fields. Now this is our answer. To get mango fruits in the off season, cytocell. Cytocell. Right then. So, answer for the third one is, answer for the 20th one is third response, my dear children. C. So, trichlorophenoxyacetic acid and also dichlorophenoxyacetic acid, both can be used as broadleaf weedicide for paddy fields. Next one. Dissimilar cell elongation of the stem caused due to action of dissimilar cell elongation. Name itself is referring to a certain one. Cell elongation. So, cell elongation mainly happens because of the action of auxins. Cell elongation happens mainly because of auxins. Stem elongation happens because of the gibberellins. And the promotion of cell division, right, or the promote of cell division is happening because of the cytokinins. So, they are asking about cell elongation. It can be similar or dissimilar, whatever. However, the cell elongation of the stem is caused due to action of what? Due to action of auxins. 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 Next one. Advantage of cytocell. Advantage of cytocell. Then let's see the responses. Induce root formation of the stem cuttings. We discussed earlier, IBA and IAA is the one which is being used. Okay, we can use both of these things, IAA and IBA, indoleacetic acid and indolebutyric acid. Then the next one, to grow fruits quickly, same thing, right? Same substances can be used. Broadleaf weedicide for paddy fields. Once again, my dear children, incorrect, because in the earlier question we took TPA, right? Trichlorophenoxyacetic acid, or DPA, dichlorophenoxyacetic acid. These things can be used as broadleaf weedicide for paddy fields. Then the final one. What is the final one? Get mango fruits in the off season. Yes, my dear children, this should be the answer. Cytocells are used to get, right? Used to get mango fruits in the off season. So it is the correct one. Next one. IBA stands for IBA stands for Indoleacetic Acid. Butyric. B-U-T-R-I-C. Indoleacetic Acid. So let's go for the Indoleacetic Acid. Indoleacetic Acid. Incorrect. Indoleacetic Acid. Incorrect. Indoleacetic Acid. This is the answer. Right? Indoleacetic Acid. Then the next one, Indoleacetic Acetic Acid. Incorrect. Indoleacetic Acid is the answer. Right? IBA. Indoleacetic Acid. Then the next one. To grow fruits quickly, chemical substance which is added. To grow fruits quickly, chemical substance added. Trichlorophenoxyacetic acid. Indoleacetic acid. Cytosol. Naphthaleneacetic acid. So to grow fruits quickly and to induce the rootings of stem cuttings, we use, my dear children, what? We use the Indoleacetic acid and Indoleacetic acid. So our answer would be Indoleacetic acid. Indoleacetic acid. So to grow fruits quickly, the chemical substance which is added is Indoleacetic acid. Indoleacetic acid. Right. Artificial growth substances are widely used in to get seedless fruits. Incorrect, my dear children. To get seedless fruits, we use the genetical engineering process. Okay. By special kind of genes, we get seedless fruits by special kind of genes, a gene technology. So next year you will be learning about these things under the inheritance lesson. Okay. Next one, growth of vegetables. Once again incorrect, right? Horticulture, yes, this is our answer because it is given in straightforward with the theoretical parts. Artificial growth substances are widely used in horticulture and in making ornamental plants, right? So it is our answer. Horticulture is our answer. Next one. To prevent premature fruit drop, the chemical substance which is added, premature fruit drop is prevented. The chemical substance which is added. So trichlorophenoxyacetic acid. It is being used, trichloro and dichloro, both of these phenoxyacetic acetic acid is used to get, or it is being used as a broadleaf weedicide. Okay, it is used as a broadleaf weedicide. Trichloroacetic acid and trichlorophenoxyacetic acid and dichlorophenoxyacetic acid both. Then the next one, cytosol, to get mangoes in the off season, right? So indoleacetic acid and indoleacetic acid, both of these substances are used to grow fruits quickly and to rootings of the stem cuttings. Then the next one, premature fruit drop will be avoided by the use of naphthaleneacetic acid. Naphthaleneacetic acid is our answer. Right. NAA stands for, very simple, my dear children, naphthaleneacetic acid. Okay, naphthaleneacetic acid. So naphthaleneacetic Naphthaleneacetic acid. Yes, the first answer is correct. Naphthaleneacetic acid, incorrect. Naphthaleneoxyacetate acid, incorrect, right? Naphthaleneoxyacetic acid, incorrect. There is no oxygen. So, naphthaleneacetic acid is our answer. Naphthaleneacetic acid. There is no oxy part. Next one. Having an abscission layer in a fallen leaf stalk is due to reduction of growth substances, increase of growth substances, increase of auxins, reduction of auxins. So, we discussed this thing, my dear children, that the abscission layer is going to occur within a plant upon falling a fruit or else a leaf. It's going to occur mainly because of the reduction, right? It's going to appear or it's going to fall off because of the reduction of growth substances, right? Because of the reduction of growth substances. Reduction, right? Reduction of the growth substances is the answer. Then the next one. A plant growth substance, abscisic acid, Indoleacetic acid, Cytokinins, all the above. A plant growth substance. We know cytokinins are correct. We know that thing is for sure. Because under the main plant growth substances, we discussed about auxins, gibberellins and cytokinins. So, it is correct, no problem. The problem is with these two, abscisic acid and the indoleacetic acid. Indoleacetic acid, IAA, absolutely correct. It's a natural growth substance that can be found within the plant, right? So, the next one is abscisic acid. We know that the indoleacetic acid, it is given IAA itself within the auxins part under a special reference. I have given you about the indoleacetic acid, my dear children. So, indoleacetic acid is a natural plant growth substance that can be observed. Okay. So, it's correct, no problem. Abscisic acid is also a natural plant growth substance. We discussed that thing under the extra knowledge part, my dear children. It helps for the closing of the stomata when there is lack of water. So, abscisic acid is also a type of a natural growth substance. So, my dear children, all of these three are correct. All of these three are plant growth substances. So, all the above should be our answer. All the above. Then the next one. Closing of stomata due to shortage of water caused by. Closing of stomata due to shortage of water. Closing of the stomata due to shortage of water caused by. In the earlier case, we discussed this thing, my dear children. Due to shortage of water or due to lack of water, the abscisic acid is going to help in closing the stomata. So, the closing of stomata due to shortage of water is caused by abscisic acid, not by auxins, not by cytokinins or not by indoleacetic acid, right? So, these two questions are interrelated to each other, right? Then the next one. These stimulate seed germination. Now, these will stimulate what? The seed germination. Abscisic acid, incorrect. We discussed that abscisic acid is used to close down the stomata when there is lack of water. Next one, gibberellins. Gibberellins are also not going to stimulate in seed germination process. In order to seed germinate, the cell division should increase. Cell division should increase. There should be a very good level of, or else there should be very, like the seed, in order to germination of a seed, the cell division process should increase. So, the cell division process is the one which is going to affect for the germination of the seeds. The cell division process is maintained or promoted, or it's been controlled by, my dear children, the cytokinins. Cytokinins. Auxins, once again incorrect, right? So, cytokinin is our answer. Cytokinins. Next one, growth of the fruits caused by. Now, here it's very important to observe the thing which is given here. It is given as the growth of the fruits. That's it. Okay, growth of the fruits. That's it. So, growth of the fruits caused by. So, there are two answers. There are two possible answers, but however, according to this underlined part, we can select one particular answer from those two responses. So, my dear children, let me give you the answers for these things. Auxins are incorrect. Indoleacetic acid that is also incorrect. So, we can ignore these two. Indoleacetic acid and auxins. Gibberellins helps in stem elongation and also it helps for the growth of fruits. Second one, cytokinins. Cytokinins also going to help in growth of fruits. It accelerates the growth of fruits. So, out of these two, we have to select the most accurate answer. So, the growth of fruits is mainly caused because of the gibberellins. Gibberellins. Not because of the cytokinins, my dear children, because cytokinins are going to accelerate the growth of fruits. Gibberellins are the ones which are helpful for the growth of fruits. Okay. So, it's very important to observe these special points given, my dear children. The acceleration process is going to occur because of the cytokinin, because we know that cytokinin is going to increase the cell division process. So, therefore, right, therefore, my dear children, what will happen? Upon the increasement of the cell division process, the growth of the fruits will also get increased. Okay. So, it's really important to focus on these things, right? It's really important to focus on these special points given here. Right then. So, let's head on to see the next question. Right then, let's head on to the next question. Question number 33 and 34. Abscisic acid can. Now, in the earlier questions, I think you could remember we discussed about the abscisic acid. So, abscisic acid can close the stomata of a plant leaf when there is lack of water. So, when there is lack of water, abscisic acid helps to close down the stomata. So, that will reduce the rate of transpiration in plants. So, here number 1 given, decrease transpiration. B, increase the rate of water absorption. C, increase transpiration. D, decrease the rate of water absorption. So, it's not mentioning about the water absorption, right? So, my dear children, we can ignore these two without any trouble. So, I told you that upon the closing down of, right, upon the closing down of stomata, what will happen? Here, the transpiration is going to decrease. The rate of transpiration is going to decrease. So, abscisic acid can decrease the transpiration rate by closing down the stomata. Next one, ripening of fruits caused by gibberellins, auxins, abscisic acid, ethene. Gibberellins, we know that it's going to help for the elongation in stem. Stem is elongated because of the gibberellins. Auxins, once again incorrect, elongation of the cells. And the curving of the plant tip is going to occur mainly because of the action of auxins. Number 3, abscisic acid. We discussed that thing earlier. So it is once again incorrect. Abscisic acid mainly helps to decrease the transpiration by closing down the stomatal pore. So we discuss, my dear children, ethene. Ethene is the chemical substance that is generated during the ripening process of fruits. So upon ripening of fruits, we discussed that starch contained within the fruits is getting converted to sugar. Okay, it is getting converted to sugar. So this should be our answer, ethene. Ripening of fruits is caused by ethene. Then the next one. During ripening of fruits, starch stored in plants converted to, we discussed this thing, right? Like when we are discussing the previous question, we discussed about this thing. I told you that starch stored within the plant fruit is getting converted into sugar, right? It is getting converted into sugar. Starch is converted into sugar during the ripening process. That's why we can feel, a sweet taste when we are eating fruits. So let's go for the answer that has sugar. Number 1, sucrose. Number 2, glucose. 3, proteins, fats. Sugar is not there, no. However, the chemical name for sugar is given, sucrose. Sucrose means, my dear children, sugar. You remember it. Sucrose is the chemical name for sugar. Okay, it's the chemical name for sugar. Glucose is incorrect because we know that glucose is the main product created during the photosynthesis. So, glucose is getting converted to starch and temporarily stored in the leaves, right? So, we know that there can't be glucose, right? So, here during the ripening process, my dear children, starch is getting converted to sucrose or sugar. Next one. If a plant is damaged, new tissue forms to recover the wound by. So, if a plant is damaged, new tissue forms to recover the wound. So, wound recovering agent present within the plant. So, wounds are recovered, right? Wounds are recovered, or the new cells are being produced within the plant mainly because of one chemical. That particular chemical is ethene. Ethene also helps in ripening process, and also ethene is a chemical that can produce new cells, or that can renew layers of cells in order to do what? In order to damage the repairs, in order to repair the damage of the cells. Okay, in order to repair the damage of the cells, this ethene chemical, right? The ethene chemical can also, right? It can go to that particular place, and also it can regenerate the missing cells, or regenerate the cells or the tissues contained within the wound. Okay. So, if a cut or a wound occurs to a plant, ethene is the one which is going to help in creating new tissues. Right then, Question number 37. Select the incorrect statement. So you have to select the incorrect statement here, wrong one. Ethene is a simple organic compound. Ethene is a simple organic compound. Correct. Ethene is a simple organic compound. I told you that a growth substance can be considered as an organic compound because mainly they are made up with carbon. Right? So it is an organic compound. No problem. Next one, cytokinin accelerate the cell division. Cytokinin accelerate the cell division. Correct. It accelerates the cell division. Cytokinin. Correct. No problem. Cell division process is accelerated by cytokinin. It is the correct answer. Correct. Aging of the plant is delayed by gibberellins. Absolutely incorrect, right? So this should be our incorrect one. They are asked to identify the incorrect one, no, underline the incorrect one, no. So it is incorrect. The incorrect one is this. Which one? Aging of the plant is delayed by gibberellins. Not at all. Gibberellins help. I told you that gibberellins help for the elongation of the stem. It's not going to delay the aging process. So it's incorrect. Aging process is delayed by cytokinins. Cytokinins. Next one. Auxins collect in areas where intensity of light is low. Auxins collect in areas where intensity of light is low. Correct. I told you that auxins hate light. If auxins hate light, what will happen? Auxins will collect in the areas where the intensity of light is low. Or else auxins will collect in darker areas. So it is correct. No problem. This is correct. Right? Always remember, my dear children, regarding the auxins, auxins hate light. It collects into the darker areas. Okay. 38. Select the correct answer. So previous one was talking about the incorrect one. Here the correct one. Naphthaleneacetic acid used to get mango fruits in the off season. Incorrect. Cytocells are the ones which are being used for that process, right? Cytocells. Next one. Cytocell is used to prevent premature fruit drop. Now these two should be interchanged. If so, those things are correct. Naphthaleneacetic acid is used to prevent premature fruit drop, and cytocell is used to get mango fruits in the off season. So both of these things are incorrect because their users have been interchanged here. Next one. Indoleacetic acid is used to grow fruits quickly. Indolebutyric acid is used as a broadleaf weedicide. Broadleaf weedicide, my dear children, this is also incorrect. Because we know that broadleaf weedicide is used, right? Or the chemical used as a broadleaf weedicide is TPA and DPA. Trichlorophenoxyacetic acid and dichlorophenoxyacetic acid. TPA and DPA. Those are the ones which are being used as what? Broadleaf weedicide. So the only option that is going to remain in here is the response C. So it is correct, my dear children. Indoleacetic acid and also indolebutyric acid. Both of these substances are used to grow fruits very quickly. Okay, correct. Next one. Select the best option from the given statements. So you have to select the best option. Okay. First one. Adding ethene externally is good to fruits. We know that fruits, if you take fruits, my dear children, fruits are mainly getting ripe because of the ethene. Fruits are getting mainly ripened because of the ethene. So, is it good to add ethene artificially to these fruits so that we can ripe them quickly? Actually, it's not suitable. because sometimes there can be fruits which are not that matured. Okay, so those things also will definitely ripe. Then sometimes, my dear children, you may see that the plant fruit is very colorful, and by looking at the outer appearance, we can see that it's very colorful, and we might think that it would be tasty. Especially this can be observed in mangoes and banana. So we'll imagine that there is a mango. Outer appearance is brilliant. It's in very good shape and a good yellow color can be observed. Now we are going to open it and have a piece. Then when eating that piece, my dear children, you can feel a sour taste, mainly because it's not been matured very well. If the fruit is not been matured very well, however, the outer structure or the inside is also going to ripe, but however, my dear children, the taste will not be the same. So it's not good to add artificial chemical substances, right? Artificial chemical substances in order to accelerate the ripening process. Most of the vendors, right, they do these kind of things, but however, these things are not suitable. Okay, so it's incorrect. Using artificial chemical substances is economical. Using artificial chemical substances is economical. Incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. It's not economical. Using artificial chemical substances is not economical. Right? It's going to cost you something. So it's not economical. It's incorrect. Always it's better to let a fruit to ripe itself. That should be the answer. Right? It's the best. It's the best option from the given statements. Always it is much better to let a fruit ripe itself within the plant. So the plant would know how much is the amount of chemical substances needed, then according to that amount the plant is going to produce it, not that much excess. So in that case, the fruit will mature properly and it will ripe. So those fruits are very tasty, my dear children. Okay. So it's better to let a fruit to ripe itself. Next one, artificial chemical substances are not harmful. Incorrect. We know that artificial chemical substances, these things are definitely harmful. Right? These things are definitely harmful. They are not mentioned as artificial growth substances, no. So they are mentioned as chemical substances. Of course, there are different types of artificial chemical substances which are very much harmful for the human beings. So it's incorrect. Final one in the MCQ parts. Sustainable practice. Using artificial chemicals to get more harvest. Using organic chemicals to get more harvest. Using organic fertilizer to get more harvest. Using artificial fertilizer to get more harvest. Right. Sustainable practice. So in a sustainable practice, my dear children, we know that artificial things are, right, artificial things. Using artificial things are not good in a sustainable practice. So we can ignore artificial things in here. So out of these organic things, you have to select the most suitable one. Using organic chemicals to get more harvest. Using organic fertilizer to get more harvest. What would be the correct one? Chemicals or fertilizer? The answer, the most suitable option, you have to select the most accurate option or most suitable, most accurate answer. My dear children, there can be organic chemicals. There can be organic chemicals which are harmful. Organic means they are made up with carbon-based substances. Okay. So therefore, we don't know the toxicity. All organic substances, all organic chemicals are not good, my dear children. There can be organic substances, there can be organic chemicals which are harmful. So therefore, using organic chemicals, no, the answer refers to chemicals, chemical substances. So using organic chemicals to get more harvest, incorrect. We can't take it. Okay, we can't take it. However, using organic fertilizer is very good. Why is that? Here it's referring to organic fertilizer. Organic fertilizer. Organic fertilizer means these things are made by waste animal and plant materials. Organic fertilizer. Most of the fertilizer is made by what? Waste plant and animal materials. So using organic fertilizer is good rather than using organic chemicals. Chemical substances, even though those things are artificial or organic, right? Chemical substances can be harmful. There can be some chemical substances which are harmful. However, most of the chemical fertilizer here, chemical fertilizer, for an example, cow dung, right? Cow dung is an organic fertilizer. Then rotted hay, okay, disposing food, fecal materials of humans and other animals. These things can be considered as organic fertilizer. Okay, so organic fertilizer is somewhat better than organic chemicals. Okay, somewhat better, not a great. I mean, like I'm not going to tell that 100% using organic fertilizer is not 100% safe. Okay, according to the substance or according to the nature of the substances, nature of the substances which is going to produce the fertilizer, the toxicity and the other factors will change. It's not harm. I'm not going to say that these things are 100% favorable for the organisms and for the earth. But however, up to a greater percentage, that's good. Okay. So using organic fertilizer would be our answer to get more harvest. It's a good sustainable practice. Right then. So my dear children, so actually these MCQ questions are very tricky. Discussing a whole MCQ part, like up to 50 MCQ questions from a certain lesson, my dear children, is going to cover the entire lesson part very well. Sometimes you might think that discussing MCQ questions or doing MCQ questions are not that much good. But however, if you can do like 50-60 MCQ questions from a certain lesson, that's the best method to answer, or that's the best method to remind the lesson, right? So now we have discussed up to 40 MCQ questions from this lesson part, my dear children, to cover up the entire lesson, right? So we have discussed several things under the lesson part, under the lesson over here, only by using the MCQ questions. Right then. So with that question, my dear children, I'm going to finish up the MCQ lesson part or the MCQ questions part. So within our next chapter, we'll be discussing about several other forms of questions. Like mainly we are discussing about the questions which we need to write down the answers. Okay. So we'll discuss those things or those questions in our next chapter.
To watch these important lessons, subscribe to DP Education's YouTube channel right now. Click on the bell icon to stay updated on the latest lessons. Sri Lanka's largest free online school, DP Education.